Hello and welcome to Family DynamiKs. It's Katherine.
And Liz.
And John.
So
Just the three of us.
What? Yeah, I know. It's true. But Liz,
Yes.
it's nice to have you. I feel like I haven't seen you because you've been tied up with birthday stuff.
Oh, right. Well, yes. My birthday was this week. And I'm not one of those people that needs a birthday month of celebrations, but it usually does turn into a couple like during the week.
Well, because you have a lot of friends who want to celebrate, so it kind of turns into like different breakout events.
Yeah, because it's interesting as you get older with your girl friendship groups, people that don't want to be part of the large group anymore will want to do one-on-one things, and maybe people no longer get along in the large groups. So there's a splintering off. So that all factors in. But my actual birthday weekend, Mark was really sweet. It actually fell on a weekend that a lot of my girlfriends, their kids either were their first or second year in college, and it was parents' weekend.
Oh, really?
So I had literally my sister Rosemary and my girlfriend Heather, and my other girlfriend Heather was actually performing stand-up out of town. So my birthday weekend, I think 4 or 5 of my girlfriends were out of town. So there was no really doing anything over the weekend with my girlfriends. And, then Mark will ask me, like, what do you want to do for your birthday? What do you want to do? And, it's set up for disaster for him because, I'd like him to surprise me with a great plan, but then God forbid he does and I don't like it, right? So typically he's asking me what I want to do, which sometimes, just with the work week and everything that's going on, the last thing you want to do is plan a dinner for yourself.
Yeah, come up with an idea.
That isn't, just sort of the norm.
Right.
So it was the weekend, and my birthday was going to be a Sunday, which I do love a Sunday brunch. But the problem was, so many people were going to be out of town. I'm like, well, I don't want to host the Sunday brunch and put all this effort and energy in if, a bunch of my girlfriends can't even come. Like, why? So I said, we can just do like just a family dinner and, just go out to dinner. So Friday night, it pretty much started. We were so excited. We're going to get rid of Ethan. We love hanging with him, but he's going to go to a football game. And we thought, we'll go out for cocktails or do something along those lines. And now he's in that phase, cell phones have changed us, where they're constantly checking in with each other, teenagers. Like, are you there? Are you going? What time are you going? Wait, you're not going now? Oh, well, who is going to be there? I mean, you just want them to leave the house and it will shake out, right? Like, just frigging go. You're going to know somebody there. And that was our childhood. I mean, you didn't really have a way of confirming. Even if you had pagers, it was like
guess it as much.
You had to go. I mean, gosh, movie theaters didn't even have assigned seats. So it's like, man, you had to get there early to be able to get a seat together with your friend, maybe even. So, So we were just trying to get him out of the house. And eventually he's like, I guess I'm hanging with you guys. We're like, what?
Oh, no.
That's not what we planned. So that ended up being a very mellow Friday night, which was fine.
So you did go out or?
No.
Oh, you stayed home.
Yeah. And I said, what, are we going to bring him to a bar with us? It's like, oh, God. And then I did say to him, I'm like, hey, I do want you to get your homework done because they have homework over the weekend. And this one teacher assigned something that has to be turned in at 11:59 or by 11:59 on Friday night. What? And we're trying to get it out of Ethan, like, well, when did he assign this? Because, why is it our Friday nights are getting completely bogarted by this whole like, oh my God, just 10 o'clock. I can't watch anything with you. I can't do anything with you, parents, because I've got to finish this assignment that's due at almost midnight. What? So he stayed home with us, but then around 11 o'clock, this is what happens. His friends knock on the door. And then now
at 11 o'clock?
Yeah, and they just want to hang out.
What? No.
Now, Mark is taking a shower, and he's basically like in boxer shorts and T-shirt. So we're in the den, and I said, we're not giving it up. They can watch TV on the little screen in the kitchen or, hang out in the backyard. We're not giving up the main room. Plus, you can't even get up and walk around right now, Mark, because you don't even have shorts on.
Seriously, 11 o'clock at night? That is crazy.
Well, they're teenage boys.
It's a no. You guys are becoming the, anything goes house. Good luck.
Anything goes. I mean, we're not serving drugs or alcohol. It's like they're having...
no, but 9 o'clock is a cutoff of people just arriving unannounced at your house.
Yes, I agree. That was an exception. It's not normally like that.
Oh, okay.
And they were very excited about the Halloween Oreos. That's what they wanted to come in and try. So, I mean, there's still some innocence, John.
Okay, sorry. I didn't mean you were becoming a flop house, but this
A flop
is
house.
a different version of that I think you shouldn't be into. But whatever you want.
So that was our Friday night. So that was, not exactly what we planned. So Saturday, I can't remember. We probably recorded a podcast, kept the normal structure. And Saturday night, I said to Mark, he goes, well, we're going to go out Sunday night for dinner. It's like, I'll make a nice dinner at home on Saturday night. What do you want? Now, he thought I would do, whether it be like some special pasta or steak. I said, I think I'd really like a good piece of salmon now. And, like a good like potato dish on the side. I didn't want rice or anything. I mean, that dude ended up going to like 4 grocery stores trying to get all the...
Oh, my goodness.
I guess, hello world, there's somewhat of a potato shortage right now.
What?
Yeah.
There is?
Yeah.
I was not aware.
Now, why or how, I have to do a little more research. But so Trader Joe's, and I also believe there's probably, a hierarchy with the grocery stores. So, your Costco's are going to get their potatoes first, and your Kroger's, and your little Trader Joe's is a little down on the list. So if you're trying to get some potatoes at Trader Joe's, the selection was slim. Basically, it was how...
Really? Okay.
Yeah. And he went to like 3 or 4 different Trader Joe's. And one thing I've learned about Trader Joe's, if one of them is out of it, usually that means all of them are out of it.
Right, because it's sort of a region
I
thing.
refuse.
No, oh, you don't think so?
No, it's pretty
I think
accurate. But if one of them tells you like our supply chain or we don't have it in stock.
Those are 2 different things.
Yes. But
Supply chain versus, we're just out. Those are 2 different things.
yes, but he was being told that the potato supply chain was low. And so they're awesome scallop potatoes. I'll give a shout out for those. And then also they have these things, they're like potato buds for mashed potatoes.
Oh,
And they
right.
are my like shortcut for making really good mashed potatoes.
So these are more like potato, like pre-made things, not like potatoes in a bag that he was going to do something with.
And I was trying to save him time,
Right.
but it actually, took up more time if he just
Because they
bought
didn't
potatoes.
have the ready-made. Is it frozen? And
yeah,
then,
they're all frozen. So he's looking for like a potato side dish that was frozen. He just ended up going all over the valley looking for everything. And
Whoops. I do like those mashed potato little frozen medallion
Right.
things.
They're
And
out
you
of those right
yeah,
now.
That's
one of
those
those
are
things
genius.
I don't know if we're getting those back this year. They were alluding to the fact that we're not going to have them for the holidays.
Ew, that's bad.
I know. Bummer. So, and he made an awesome charcuterie board.
Oh,
Really, really nice. And I asked him, there's a particular bottle of wine like Trader Joe's, so we got that. So I got home from the podcast, and because we recorded a huge fans podcast about Harry Potter films,
right.
I was like so in the mood. I made myself a warm chai tea and was sitting on the couch watching a Harry Potter. And, totally out of order, right in the middle of one. Who cares?
Yeah, just merge watching, as we like to say. Just whatever's happening, just join in.
Just Harry.
Yep, exactly. Harry, just Harry. But I think it was Prisoner Azkaban. I think it was that one. So then Mark comes home. He's like, I've been all over the valley looking for your potato side dish.
Jeez.
So immediate guilt over my birthday dinner. I'm like, okay, whatever. So I just stay in the kitchen while he's cooking and doing stuff, and Ethan's kind of dipping in and out. And I've reiterated to Ethan, I'm like, hey, get that homework done because of my birthday tomorrow. I really don't want your homework taking over. What?
I just, you could, this is where it always goes. It's always get the homework done. And he doesn't.
No, I mean, it's just, God, it's really challenging. And I'm sure he got distracted by going out and playing lacrosse in the backyard or out in the neighborhood. And then I'm sure his phone. Now we very often make him leave his phone in the kitchen while he's doing homework and leave the door open. Because you get in there, normally it's like a big,
Yeah, it was becoming a door closed. What is happening in there? Is this just TikTok for an hour?
Yeah, who knows? And, it's also because he won't open a window. I don't know what is with teenagers. I mean, are they never hot? I mean, it's like you open the door and you're like, ha, like a wave hits you of heat. You're like, okay, I would have a hard time concentrating in this environment. So, we kind of snapped him to shape. Hey, do your homework and get it done. So maybe we can watch something tonight together because we weren't going out Saturday night either. And he made a beautiful dinner. And what was the side dish? Oh, I'm not a fan of gnocchi.
Oh,
Unless it's like perfection, it's gummy.
yeah.
And it's really hard to nail. So
Sarah figured out a trick.
Okay,
'Cause she
what?
likes gnocchi, but she doesn't like that it's usually so mushy and whatever.
Yeah.
You cut them in half. Like,
Oh.
so that they actually like get a little more cooked in the middle, and like I don't know, it's an extra step because she likes the texture of like the outside, but then the inside is like they're too big is the thing.
That is interesting. So yeah, he got a gnocchi side dish, frozen from Trader Joe's.
Yeah.
And the only gnocchi I've ever had, it goes back to a restaurant that I worked, gosh, pre-marriage, pre-everything in downtown LA. It was La Bella Cucina, and it was an Italian restaurant. And that was the first time I ever had gnocchi. And it was like, oh, these are little clouds of potatoes. I mean, delicious. Chasing that high ever since. Never been met. So I'm always like, no, you're not going to get me gnocchi. You're not going to trick me again. So, of course, Mark's like, he got 2 different flavors of gnocchi. So I was like, in my head, I'm going, no and no. But I'm like, crap.
Nice try, but yeah.
Right. So I'm like, I guess we could try that one. And I'm like, damn it. So, I'm not going to say that. It's like, okay, all good. So, yeah, beautiful dinner. The salmon was cooked perfectly. And Ethan loves salmon. And Mark likes a broccolini. And sometimes I feel like broccolini is just too, like, it's like the tough guy broccoli, I'm the broccolini, man. You don't mess with me.
It's a lot of stem, I feel.
Yeah, I'm a little rough, And Mark likes it al dente. So it's
geez.
It's
Well.
very, you're sitting there like, this is...
So healthy. Love it.
But I think I said no to the broccolini. What did I agree to for the side dish of, asparagus?
Yeah, you like asparagus.
Yes, I do. But Mark did not. This is a trick, everybody, with asparagus. You do need to cut a little bit off on the end, but then peel the spears on the bottom because then the whole thing is like tender and delicious, which Mark did not. He did cut a little bit off the bottom. He didn't do the little peeling off of the outer fiber of the end
Right,
of the
because then
asparagus.
it's too tough on the bottom.
Yes, that is an old catering trick, man. That's the key to good asparagus. So, I was looking at him like, all these shortcuts.
Asparagus kind of isn't good, so it's always going to be bad, so just eat it.
Even like a
That's an opinion. I don't care.
baked, like when you broil asparagus, then it's a whole, like, you can't steam asparagus. Oh, no.
Well, and the super skinny asparagus is actually a little bit better too because
Yes.
it doesn't have the toughness issue.
It's a compacted flavor. So like I said, I refused the broccolini. So that was no. So he did asparagus. So beautiful presentation. Charcuterie board before was awesome. But like, I'm one of those people like, you lay out a good charcuterie board, like the cheeses, a little bit of meat, some nuts on there. I could almost be satisfied with that as my meal. Like I have to stop myself at a certain point to be like, oh, there is a full meal coming.
I know you almost need like an hour plus
so
of
good.
like a little bit of nibble, and then you got to chill before it's dinner time.
I've also reached a stage in my life I can't have like 25 different things in my stomach. Like like a tapas bar now might be not good for me. We're gonna share 50 small plates. I'll be like,
No, thanks.
No, I mean normally I don't have an issue, but it's like for some mixed with alcohol, it's like, oh my god, no. So very lovely dinner, but then we were all pretty full, and Mark's like, well, do you want dessert? And I was like, I don't know.
And this is Saturday, right? Okay.
Yeah, and we're just home, but he made like, a nice weekend, quote unquote, birthday dinner. And I'm like, no, it's on my birthday. I don't think I need dessert, so on and so forth. Okay, fine. So we end up watching something all together. I think we watched, I feel like we actually watched a movie together, but now it's like it did not resonate with me at all. So it's like,
What it was. No memory. Oh my God.
It didn't resonate.
no.
with me.
Oh, I know what we watched. We finished up Mr. Harrigan's Phone.
Oh my God. I just talked about it. You weren't here, but I talked about it on What We're Watching podcast.
Damn it. What did you think of it?
I did like it. I thought it was the right amount of creepy for me.
Right.
Because it was not gory.
And it's based on a Stephen King
short story, I guess.
Right, exactly.
Which I was not familiar with.
So we had actually started to watch it without Mark.
Oh, you and Ethan. Uh-huh.
And we really liked it. We got halfway through and had to stop for some reason. And then Mark saw it in the queue, the Netflix queue of what we're watching. And he's like, what is this? We were like having to lie to be like, it's not good. I don't know. But then Ethan wanted to finish it. And so Mark basically said, like, you guys just finish it. So I said, all right, hold on. I'm going to catch you up. Because actually it had come to the point where I don't want to spoil alert anybody, but there was halfway through something happens that takes the story in a very different direction.
I might have spoiled it on the other podcast, but go on. Anyway.
So I caught Mark up, I thought, informed him of the plot and the storyline and the characters well enough. So I'm like, and now we'll watch the second half. So I think that's what we did. And he enjoyed it. I think the buildup might have helped, which we're not going to rewind for him. So too bad. But we enjoyed that. And
that's straight up merge watching.
Yeah.
Just jump in.
Yeah. So no dessert, go to bed, wake up. Sunday's my, and he'd asked me, like, what do you want for your Sunday brunch? Because I love a brunch. So I kept naming things, but not necessarily meaning like all of them. But that was my fault. That was my fault. Okay. So I wake up, it's like, there's bacon and sausage. I'm like, okay. There's croissants, and he's making hash browns. I'm like, oh my God.
Uh-oh.
And he's going to make eggs however we want them. And he's got like a smoothie. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to be like the largest meal ever. So, and then Saturday, which was really nice, started to backtrack a little bit. We had woken up early, Mark and I, and done the whole like big loop to the farmer's market and took our time and came back. And so that was really nice. And of course, then to rally to get Ethan up, just wake him up, like get up. We've already, like a parent, like, we've already walked, gone to the farmer's market, and you're still asleep, teenager. So it's been a lovely weekend so far. So I come out to breakfast on Sunday morning, like, happy birthday. And he'd put up like happy birthday banners everywhere, which was so nice.
Cute.
But yeah, I was like, oh, I didn't mean everything I suggested.
No,
for
too bad.
brunch,
You're getting everything. Yeah.
which was delicious. But it was like, oh my gosh, there's so much going on here. And it was just funny this morning. I even went to wake up Ethan, and bacon smell can like permeate your whole house. So
Yeah.
Ethan was like asleep, and I was watching him. So creepy. Sorry, but mothers do watch their kids sleep, and his nose is like flaring because it's smelling the bacon. I'm like, Ethan, your brain is telling you to wake up. You can smell the bacon. So yeah, I mean, it was like, we were not eating for the rest of the day. This brunch was outrageous, delicious. And, then he gave me some gifts that he had gotten me, which is really cool. A poster of, one of my favorite people, Lily Tomlin, in a famous pose she has, sort of like almost like a superhero hands on hips pose. And it says evolve or die, which
I love it.
And a box of C's candy, hand picked from Ethan.
Love it.
And I can't go wrong with that. But I was so full. I was like, not getting into any of this now. So then Sunday was just sort of relaxation, sort of, except for the fact like all of a sudden Ethan's discovering like 10 more assignments he has.
Oh God.
I mean, what is that with kids? It's like, but I guess unlike his grade school, there was one spot, it's called Grade Link, that you as a parent and the kid could check what was due, when it was due,
Right.
what was missed, all that type of stuff. High school, for some reason, there seems to be 3 or 4 different spots.
Yeah.
And that a certain teacher prefers this one, another one prefers this one, which I'm like, come on. So as a parent, I can't even figure out how to check the homework. And now I have to be like, have you checked where the biology teacher posts versus where the English teacher posts, where everybody else posts? And is there anything else you have due that you need to check? I mean, oh gosh, I didn't check that. I totally forgot I have this to study for. So Sunday afternoon was not that relaxing.
Oh, geez.
Because it's also like, get your homework done. And we were going to go to the beach to do like a sunset walk on the beach. But now we're getting to the point where we're like, man, we'll be lucky to make our dinner reservations by the beach.
Oh.
Just get your freaking homework done. He'll get something like, I know it's done. You've asked before, that type of thing. You're going, oh my gosh. So Mark had made a reservation at this restaurant in Malibu that's called Trevina Tony's. It's Greek. It's super fun, delicious food. And like I said, the plan was to walk and see the sunset and, walk before dinner. No. So we basically made it to our reservation, on the dime. It wasn't fully dark, but it was dusk. The sun had set. And Ethan, this is one of those places where I had brought him as a kid, and he basically ate the pita bread and French fries. I mean, it wasn't his repertoire. But now we basically will bring him anywhere, and he will. Actually, I've stopped ordering for him or making suggestions, because this is a hint to parents that are transitioning to letting kids kind of be more adventurous with the menu. Or there's a story this comedian tells about, he's with a large group and they're rushing to maybe go see a show or to the next part of their day, but they've stopped for a meal and they want to get the order in and move it along. And everybody's ordering very quickly, and they get to the 6-year-old. And the 6-year-old's like studying the menu like, it's a transcript. And the dad looks over and thinks in his head like, really, asshole? You know it's chicken nuggets, buttered pasta, or quesadilla. Like, you're not getting anything but that. So, like, what are you looking at the menu extensively? Not my joke. It's a comic that's out there. It was very funny how he did it, but it was true. It's like, as a parent, there is an era, there are kids that are exceptions, but there is a bulk of years that your kid's palate is pretty narrow.
Right.
And so you go to a restaurant and it's like you as the parent scanning the menu right away to be like, oh, thank God they've got a quesadilla, or they have chicken nuggets, or they have butter pasta. Like, you're relieved, right?
Yeah, and then you tell them, you're like, oh, you can have this or whatever.
Right. Mm-hmm. So the last 2 or 3 years has been, he'll look at the menu himself, only really ask for help if he's like, wait, I don't understand what this ingredient is, or this description, or I can't figure this out. And I'm like, actually, that's just another version of chicken and rice. That's just, it's very close to your version of. So, but now he wants to place his order, pick it out, and he'll rarely ask questions of what something is. And I've learned he then, if it comes and there's a funky ingredient or something he doesn't understand, you can see his brain processing like, well, I ordered this, I got to deal with this and figure it out. Whereas if I had ordered for him, then it's like, Mom, you told me to get this, and now I don't want it. How am I supposed to deal with it? So I have backed out of that.
Right, because now he's accountable for his own decision.
Yes, so I've definitely backed out of it. So there's been meals lately like, wow, you're getting the pork chop. Wow, you're getting the trout. Okay, wow, you're getting the salmon. And I have looked across the table, and there's definitely like moving stuff around, trying to figure it out, making it work. Like, he just was somewhere and he got salmon wrapped with kale and some sort of sauce. And he is very obvious when he is eating the first couple bites. If he's like not getting it, it's the flared nostrils and the whole face goes like, ooh,
this is not what I was expecting.
And so I can't even look at it because I'll just start laughing because it's just, it's
let him work through it.
It's such an obvious face. Mm-hmm. So then eventually I could tell he had like removed the kale from some of the pieces of salmon and this and that. And I also don't usually ask, like, how is it going? I don't want to know.
Or like the classic, which is to intervene and try and like, well, maybe we can fix it, or what else can we get? Or like,
I don't do it
let
anymore.
him do it. That's great. That's great for him.
So then after dinner, we were just talking about just all of our various meals that we got. And he's like, well, mine came and I didn't think the salmon was going to be wrapped in these green things, but it was kale. And, I mean, it was all right, but then I removed the kale and there was a really good sauce. Like, the sauce was like a 10. The sauce was a 10 with the salmon, this, that. And of course, if I had not curbed myself and stopped myself, I for sure would intervene and tried to like alter the whole thing down there. And hearing him talk through the whole process, like, oh, he handled it himself, and he ended up like eating basically everything except for like 3 pieces of wilted kale in the corner.
Great.
So all good. So now we're going to this Greek place. But like I said, I really had not brought him there since like a girl's lunch when he was like a toddler. We all played on the Malibu playground before. So I'm like, all right, we're going to make this work. And they have this, as soon as you sit down, and I don't know why, this is one of those places, Rosemary, our sister, always, I can pretty much say always definitively, always will not take the first table that she's offered at a restaurant. Like, almost always. I am not that particular. There's only 1 or 2 places in a restaurant I don't really want to be. Like, if I can run cold. So if it's like, yeah, by the open door, maybe not. If there's a workstation, and it's also like, if there's another table available, but I am not as particular as Rosemary. Rosemary, I have never walked in and not had her basically shift or asked to be moved ever. So,
well, and it also has to do with whether or not you're willing to wait. If there is not another table available, she is still willing to go like, oh no, I will wait for what I want. And versus like, I'm like, no, I'm starving wherever. Too late.
Yeah, not as particular.
I've messed up. I don't have the window of waiting.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes like, I don't want to necessarily be by the waiter station where they're clanging the silverware and doors opening and closing too, and seeing the kitchen activity. Like, there's just elements like you can, I get it, but sometimes it's like you're just gonna have to deal with what you deal with. But this restaurant, for some reason, every time, Mark's like, "What? It's so odd." Every time, you're always like, "It's like it can be like a third choice." Like, I am so bizarre because there's an awesome outside patio.
Oh, so you are particular at this restaurant?
Yes,
is what you're getting at?
Because there's an awesome outside patio. Even though you're in Malibu, you don't see the ocean, so that's not a factor. But there's a really cool outside patio, and of course, if you're eating, daylight, you'd want to be out there, but now, because we've gotten there basically at our reservation time, the patio is not appealing to me. And also, I run cold, and so they're going to put us on the patio. I'm like, oh, actually, I'd rather be inside. And there's this upper area that then there's like a fireplace, which I'm like, it was like the Three Little Bears. I mean, too cold outside, and now by this fireplace. And normally I like a fireplace. I'm gonna be too hot, so I'm like, I can't be up there. And it's also a little too removed. And there's this one corner booth I love, but people were sitting at it, and the girl goes, they haven't even ordered their entrees yet, so it's gonna be a while. So I'm like, okay. She's like, well, let me figure it out, because it is your birthday. So they're actually being nice about me being like picky. And it's not like we've gone and sat at these tables. She's like, do you want to sit outside? No, too cold. Do you want to sit up there? I'm like, no, it'll be too hot
It was just
up there.
discussion
Yeah,
phase.
it was like, and she's like, gesturing to the various parts of the restaurant. And Mark and Ethan are like, oh my God. So she goes, well, why don't you sit at the bar for a moment and, we'll figure it out. I'm like, okay. So yes, at the bar, order a glass of wine. And she goes, actually, would you like one of those tables by the big windows? And I'm like, okay, that could be cool. Fine. That's why I'm like, oh my God. Even I'm like, girl, just take the damn table.
Gotta sit somewhere.
Oh, Lord. So we sit down and they have this, I always thought it was butter, but bread and spread that come. And you really, and this place has been, it's have to been around for like 40 years. It's been around forever in Malibu. So it's pretty, well-known locals. And if you're a tourist to come in, and it's really delicious food. But they put the spread on your table. And it's like, you've got to pace yourself because it's delicious bread. And I thought it was like a whipped butter. So it's like, and Ethan, takes him. He's like, oh my God. And you can never tell, like, if the first bite's like, I'm repulsed or this is delicious. There is no reading the reaction at first. So he takes a bite and I love it. So I'm hoping he's going to like it too. And he's like, okay, that's one of the most delicious things I've ever eaten. So I go,
Well,
okay.
what is the spread?
Okay, so I've never been able to get the recipe out of anybody. And even if you got it, I don't know if you'll be able to figure it out. But I've always still assumed it's butter, right? And Rosie's gone there and been like, because she can be dairy sensitive. And she's like, the next day I was dying. I'm like, I know, we had so much of it. So, and then you're going to order your meal and you have to like kind of share. It's not necessarily family style, but it's just a lot. So it's better if you share. So we're trying to figure that out. And they have this flaming cheese. And I'm like, we can't do the flaming cheese. It's like too much. Like, I don't want the flaming cheese. So we figure out we're going to get what's called like a mezza plate, which is like, the hummus and baba ganoush and tabbouleh and like, I think 2 other dips. And then like chicken on a skewer and like, and rice and all this type of stuff. So the waitress was coming over and I was like, oh, the bread's so good. And the spread. I go, so what's in the butter? She's like, it's not butter. I'm like, wait, this is not butter? What is this? And then she starts naming the ingredients. And she's like, it's avocado, olive oil, garlic, lemon juice, breadcrumbs. I think those are the main 5 ingredients.
Interesting.
I'm like, there's no butter in this? She's like, no. So it's like one of their whipped spreads, but you think it's butter. It's so delicious. So you're like, oh my gosh, there's no butter in this thing. But you eat enough of it and you're like, you realize you're getting full because it is made with breadcrumbs. So it's like,
and you're eating bread. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So we only, like I said, we only got like one entree, a salad, and this like dipping plate. The 3 of us, for some reason, were so full. We like barely made a dent in anything. I don't know if we're still full from that huge brunch he made us. I don't know. We're like, oh my God, we're so full. We can't do it. So she's like, would you guys like dessert? And Mark's like, well, it is her birthday. And I'm still like, no, thank you. I'm so full. I'm like, let's just get home and we'll do something at home. Of course, Mark's like practically breaks out in a sweat. He's like, I didn't plan anything for home. He's like, I thought we were going to get like dessert out. I'm like, well, I don't want baklava. I was like, I'm just too full. I am just too full here. So we basically and Ethan's like, that was one of the best meals I've ever had. He so dug it, which was great, which is really nice because, teenagers in a lot of ways can ruin meals for various ways. I'm sure anybody with a teenager can relate because we have had what he does a lot lately is you get him out someplace and whether because he's hungry or low blood sugar or God knows what, you look over and you're like, get your head up off the table. Like, do not fall asleep at the table. He's like, I'm so tired. And then it's like you're like a baby bird, like trying to shove bread or like something down his throat. You're like, get up. Because actually, I'll get to it, but that recently just happened. So it was just so nice. Like he was in a good mood. He had good energy. It was like, hallelujah. Because that's the other thing I'll do. If I take like an iced tea or like something in the car, like for the drive, he's like, can I have a sip? And it's like the longest, like, and and like half my drink is gone. I'm like, you asshole. But I also am thinking like, well, if the iced tea makes him a little more awake, then it's the price I'll pay. So he was really good through the whole meal, very enjoyable. So we get home and Mark's like, what do you want for dessert? Because he knows my only thing on my birthday is like, I at some point need to blow out a candle, like make your birthday wish. So I'm like, I'm just so full. Like, what am I gonna do? So Mark then goes, all right, come in here into the kitchen, and he put a candle in the box of C's candy
Oh, that's cute.
to blow out, because I really was like, I cannot do any dessert. I don't know why I'm so full. I pulled a shimmy sham. It was nearing the end of the meal, and believe me, we were so full we can barely move. I don't know why, but I'm like, we need more bread in the spread, because I'm just planning to take that home. So I mean, I'm like, oh my God. So we ended up taking home, because we didn't really make a dent in our food. It was like 4 to-go containers.
Oh my.
It was like a grocery store we're taking home. It was crazy. So like, we really didn't eat a lot, but we're so full. So I come in, happy birthday to you. The guys, my boys are singing to me, and it's in a C's box. So it's like, yeah, didn't really look the same. No birthday cake. Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. So I did have one piece of chocolate, and I was like, I'm tapped out. Then I think we watched, House of Dragons, which is and like an Andor or something. So it was very lovely, very nice, very relaxing. What I should have said to Mark, like, the gift would have been the next morning I'd have to wake up and get Ethan to school, because that's the drag where you're like, ah. But I think I woke up, got him to school. Oh, of course I woke him up, and halfway through his bagel, he turns to me, he's like, why'd you wake me up so early for school? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, you only have 20 minutes before you've got to be outside for carpool. And he goes, no, Mondays are 9:15.
Oh no.
I'm like, how about your schedule?
Yeah.
So, then basically he went back to sleep for a half an hour, and I did just stay up awake, like waiting for him.
Oh no.
I'm like, you jerk. Then I had to put off the walk with Rosie for like additional half an hour or so. So Monday got a slow start. But then there was, some other celebrations throughout the week. Dee Dee and Fred, my sister-in-law and her boyfriend, took us out to a really nice Italian dinner.
Lovely.
During the weekend. That definitely was like, oh my God, Ethan, you have to have the homework done before we go. And it's this Italian restaurant, Basta, in Agoura Hills in California. They want to take us to, because it's got like the wood burning fire oven and Italian and just delicious. But yes, Ethan is like falling asleep at the table.
Oh my.
So I have learned the trick with that is like, go find the waiter and ask them this, or go outside and get some fresh air, or go do something away from the table. Because because he's big enough now. It's like, you're not like a little kid
that can curl up in a corner.
No, it's like a human being sprawled across the whole table. Like, we need the room for the appetizers. I mean, get out of the way. I mean, it's so irritating. And he doesn't drink soda. Some preschool teacher gave them a lecture on soda, and it is like
self-imposed soda restrictions.
Yeah. And it is stuck with him still to this day. So what? Am I going to push him to drink soda? No. So I've even tried, like, here's an Italian soda, or here's just a sparkling water. Oh God. Like the carbonation, like you can't deal with it now. So fine. I mean, there is a day I'm sure that will come that will shock me. They'll order a soda in front of me, but it's not now. So I basically kick him out of the table, and we have a really lovely dinner, and there was like, a little dessert they brought, and so I got to blow out a candle then, so that was very nice.
Nice.
And Grand Jam, my mother-in-law was there, so that was really sweet. So that was a really nice dinner on Tuesday night. And then Wednesday...
Wait, that was Tuesday?
Yeah.
What happened Monday night?
Monday, I think, was just a normal slow down day. I had a day off. I had a day off from the festivities. I had a recovery day. I was so full. I was like, I started my day with like a green juice and a water. I was like, reset. Oh my gosh. So,
okay, so we're on to Wednesday.
Yeah. So Wednesday is the girls' dinner that two of my girlfriends had set up. And like I said, it's a little odd now because, I have girlfriends that, for whatever reason, I'm not going to go into here, but don't speak. And so one was signing it up. So then the other one's not going to be invited.
Right.
And it's like, I hate being put in that position, but I can't do anything about it, right?
Right.
And I also left this other girlfriend of mine sort of to set it up. And, that's the nice part of it. It's like, okay, you just take it over and do it, right? Mm-hmm. And Rosie helped me put together like little gift bags. It's like so funny. It's like my birthday dinner, but I always still like to bring a treat.
Yeah,
and
you like to.
And Rosie.
Ridiculous.
I know, but I always do it. And also because I like it because it's like very easy to do. It's October, so theme wise, it's like a pumpkin theme, you know.
Cute.
But I always think of this like 2 days before, and it's like, oh my gosh, I got to track down pumpkin candles. You got to track down candy corn. It's like it's not like I'm far in advance playing it. It's like the day before.
But you still want to do it. Yeah.
Yep. But we got them done the day before, so that in itself was like impressive. So we had a plan. There was 3 of us going to drive together, and then it's funny. Lainey goes, "Well, I've only made the reservation for 6," and I go, "Well, there's 8 people invited now." And she goes, "Trust me. Someone's going to drop out. Something's going to happen. We're going to keep it for 6 because it's a better table," and so on and so forth. I'm like, okay.
Oh, interesting.
And we're not going to share the story here and now, but she did absolutely freaking jinx it. I love you, Lainey, but I was ready to kill you.
Not her fault. I haven't even. Come on.
I know. But it turned out 6 was the perfect number. And John, thank you. You were our chauffeur for some of the evening.
Half chauffeur, yeah.
Yeah. And then Lori has someone that will drive her car because, you're going to go drink, so you can't be, driving as well. So it ended up being 6 of my girlfriends. Very lovely. So it was Lainey, Lori, Heather, Lisa, Susanna, and myself. Very nice. And it was at this place called Lucky's. Hey, start my year off right, Lucky's. And made an awesome Cosmopolitan. So as soon as you arrive, it's like, ooh, sophisticated. And I have a group of girlfriends who like, they're going to dress up. They're going to put the, foot forward. Lainey had like thigh-high hot pink boots on. I mean, just insane. And my day got derailed. Like, I'm not going to go into the story of why our party got taken down to 6 or why. I was going to get my hair blown out. I was going to maybe get my nails done. And inevitably, it was like I ended up having like 45 minutes to shower and get myself ready for being the belle of the ball. It was like, oh my God, rushing. But I will say a dress that did not really fit me like 9 months ago. I don't know why I magically thought you're just going to fit me today because I just need to throw this outfit together, and it fit me. So
that's nice.
That was nice. That was a little birthday surprise. So get there, and that's the other thing. My girlfriend makes the reservation. It's like we're like the second table in the entire restaurant. It's like we're early, okay. But a great Cosmo, like I said, and then one of my girlfriends thinks she's an expert orderer, so I have to it's my birthday dinner, so I have to stop her and be like, whoa. Like I actually would like some input on what we're gonna order for the appetizers and the entrees, because otherwise it'll end up being like this. I can tell you any restaurant that has this on the menu, it's like a tuna tartare, a beet salad. There is like 4 things, anything with a goat cheese. Like it'll always be those appetizers. I'm like, can I just look what they have first and maybe chime in on what I'd like? It's like my own birthday. But it was really lovely dinner, no drama. Everybody brought like little treats for each other. I hadn't seen one of my girlfriends because she'd spent her entire birthday month in like Lake Como.
Oh,
she's Louise. So that was really nice. And we just had a great time. I had a great second drink was my glass of wine. And, my girlfriends can kind of throw back, but it's a Wednesday, so no one was going crazy. But I was like, oh, you know what? It's my birthday. I think I'll do a third drink, which sometimes is a mistake, which the universe must have known that because the waitress never brought it.
Oh, that worked out.
Yeah, I was like, oh, well.
Never mind.
Never mind. That must be... For some reason, I'm not getting my drink. But then my girlfriend, Lainey's so funny. She's like, oh, no, I need espresso martini. I have to get espresso martinis. Now, I don't drink caffeine. I can't take it.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
So an espresso martini just sounds like, are you going to be up for a week? Like, what are you doing? And she's get a decaf. Now, I'm not saying all restaurants, and I don't want to put the fear of God in anybody, but if you're ordering a caffeinated beverage at the end of the night and you ask some restaurants for decaf, you do run a decent chance, because I worked in restaurants, I know this, you're getting caffeinated because they either might not even have the decaf bean, they've run out of it, they haven't brewed it, and they just want to move you along. So a lot of times you say, I would like a decaf something, you might not be getting it.
Maybe not.
I worked in one restaurant that we never had decaffeinated beans. I was the only waitress that was ever honest, would say, we do not have decaf espresso. We do not have a decaf latte. We don't have decaf. Because also, if you're really technical, like you should be using 2 different grinders and all that, because it's like if you're really sensitive to caffeine, you don't want anything. But I'd be like, no, we don't have it. I got it here last week. I'm like, well, I don't know, I knew, but I'd be like, oh, maybe we had it last week, but we're out of it tonight. So I'm like, I can't risk getting a decaf espresso martini, even at this fancy, nice restaurant. They probably do have decaf, but you staying up for I don't take any caffeine. So any caffeine all would keep me up for probably the night.
No thanks.
But I took 1 sip of it and to equate it, hey, if you can handle caffeine, I highly recommend it. It is like the liquid Haagen-Dazs coffee ice cream. Have you ever had it?
Not in years.
Right. It was
Eric loves it though.
It was definitely in fashion when first Haagen-Dazs came out. I don't think they had the full. It was rum raisin, vanilla, coffee. They didn't have the scope,
a limited
now.
selection. Yeah.
And the coffee everybody died over, and it really is delicious. But I don't think I've had it in years. Mark loves coffee ice cream too. It hit that sensory memory of this tastes exactly like Haagen-Dazs coffee ice cream, but in liquid form.
Oh, wow.
It was delicious. But I 1 sip, I'm like, no. But also my girlfriend Lainey likes to have the night linger on. So one of my girlfriends who I'm driving with is I've got Pilates in the morning. We got to get going here. And
gotta wrap it up.
Lainey's sipping her martini. It's oh my God. But then what ends happening, because they will have me open gifts throughout. And there's little speeches be given. And so there's no order or structure necessarily to the evening. I still think I'm missing a gift card, but I'm afraid to ask, did you give me a gift card? Because then it's all right, let's go. And they're shoving things in bags and hustling me out the door, and things go in the back of a car. And it's and then I probably they barely slow down to roll me out of my own house. I mean, it's just insane by the end of the night. Oh, okay. And that dessert, this is going to bring up to one of my final end cap of my birthday week. That dessert was a cheesecake and then a candle and a sundae.
Oh, okay.
So you're okay. So I got to blow out some candles throughout the week. So that was good. So, like I said, the rush to all right, now we're leaving. Now it's the mad dash to leave. And we ran to some friends when we were leaving, had to say hi to them. And my girlfriend's yelling from the car. I have Pilates, in 8 hours, get in the freaking car. So it's okay. So the next morning, I was pretty coherent because I didn't have the 3rd drink. So I'm okay, let me remember and kind of organize the gifts and who gave me what. And I swear, I am thinking there is a gift card that I cannot find. So I'm going to have to ask one of them. And it's all long gone at this point. So it's not that point. I just want to be able to thank them.
Right. It probably got left on the table or fell on the floor. Who knows?
Who knows? Because like I said, there's always this happened to me 2 years in a row. Where it's such the rush to shove me, where I'm I was ready to go. What is happening here? So I had organized, and I still write thank you notes. I sent a thank you text to the group of girls the next morning, but I do also like to write thank you notes.
Thank you notes are really nice.
Yeah. And I did get on my actual birthday, which was Sunday, I got an amazing floral bouquet that came. Mm-hmm. There was a knock on the door on Sunday. Normally you don't get deliveries on Sunday, And this guy saying I have a flower delivery. I need to know where you're going to place it because it's very heavy and it's going to have to just stay there. And you're whoa, okay.
Wow.
So Mark goes, okay, it's our dining room table. Okay, great. And I'm wow. And so the guy puts on a weight belt.
A weight? Wow. Okay.
And he gets out a trolley and he says to Mark, can you help me? Mark's yeah.
With this flower delivery? Oh my. Okay.
So I will say, God love you, Kris Jenner. It was incredible. Now, transferring from the trolley to the table, Mark goes, it was heavy. It did weigh 40 pounds. It was insane. He goes, but then we added water to it, which I then think, you're not going to move this thing. And it's almost one of those things now a couple days later, some of the flowers are dying off. You can almost deconstruct it and now put flowers in multiple vases throughout your house. It's like a job now. You're all right, well, I don't want to throw the whole thing away because there's still some very good flowers in there. So but also, for allergy reasons, you're all right, I can't have dying flowers. You're oh my gosh, okay. But they're so beautiful. I mean, it's so thoughtful, so beautiful. So that was a big surprise on Sunday. So, wrapping it up, it really was kind of.
Well, wasn't there one more dinner?
Yes. Last night, when I was really our best couple friends, the Angels, hence the name, very apropos for them. And we went to the famous landmark restaurant, Musso and Frank's in Hollywood, which is on Hollywood Boulevard. They'd never been there before. So, we pull up in the Uber, we get out, she's oh, whoa, we're on Hollywood Boulevard. Because Hollywood Boulevard has a vibe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And if you're not prepared for it, it's a little alarming. And you're also what kind of restaurant is this that's on Hollywood Boulevard? But it's been there for in some form or another, because I think it was like Frank's Cafe first and then Musso and Frank's 100 years, something crazy.
Yeah, it's like old school Hollywood
booths.
Yeah.
And the booths are so famous because basically once you sit in them, except for the booth directly maybe across or aside from you, you can't see anybody else in the restaurant. There's loud cacophony noises and all that. So the energy's there. But you could go in there as like a silent screen star and never be seen. You know what I'm saying? Be making out with like, some married man or who knows, like very scandal.
I like how you're concocting these
All
whole
this,
stories.
yes.
Yeah.
And they've never upgraded what are the martini glasses or the wine glasses. They are freaking teeny. Like they're so
old
funny.
school.
Like, ooh, a gimlet or something, have an old fashioned, So, and the waiters come over and they're in like, almost like, the tuxedo type of uniforms, like jackets, and they've got gold stars on them for some achievement they've had or a number of years, and their names are embroidered on their jackets. I mean, like, it's very fun, fancy. Highly recommend it, Musso and Frank's. So we had a fabulous dinner. And Mark and Brian, so we got this like crab appetizer, which comes old school. So they give you the little 3-prong teeny fork. And I look over at one point, and we'd also gotten their famous meatballs and like a salad. Mark and Brian are continuing to eat with this teeny little fork. It's like, big guy with the little fork. It's like, this is not a diet plan. You're still eating just as much, you two. It was so ridiculous. I'm like, that's only for the crab appetizer. Like, just crazy. And then we split a bunch of different, it was like very old, like Dover sole, like, and then you got a steak and your sides and creamed spinach. Delicious. And then kind of once again, it's like, oh, I don't want a dessert. But you have to have a dessert. You have to have a dessert. And he goes, oh, it's your birthday. We'll bring you out for dessert. So fine. And it was like actually a really good brownie, just vanilla ice cream on it. And I got to blow out a candle again. So great. Lovely evening. And of course, Brian and Mark always want to do a second destination. But Heather was like adamant no. And really when you stand up, because the way the restaurant and all these booths are basically constructed, you stand up, you're like, oh my gosh, like there's only 2 more tables in the entire restaurant left. Like it's 12 o'clock, like we can just wrap it up. So, and we had done like pre-drink at their house. So I was like, I'm done. And our son Ethan, had come back from a festival, like a carnival. So let's just head home. So I get home and I'm like, gosh, you know what I realized? I never had a birthday cake this year. There was never anything even close to a traditional birthday cake, a slice of cake, nothing.
Cheesecake.
Cupcake.
No, but the candle wasn't in the cheesecake. It was in the sundae, John. Semantics, but accurate.
All right.
All those wishes still count. It's still all good. But I'm like, that was just an unorthodox year of not having, like I said, not a birthday. And then Rosemary, who did not end up being able to go to my birthday dinner, says, wait, there was conversation on a side text with the ladies. Like, there's supposed to be a cake for you. I'm like, it was still lovely. There was, believe me, a lot of thought and, went into the dinner and some of the extra things that were brought and, the flowers that Lainey brought for the center of the table. Beautiful. She's like, no, there's supposed to be a cake for you there. I'm like, okay, there was not. And I'm going to recover and it's fine. But yeah, it was odd. It was like I never blew out a candle on a piece of cake or anything close to it. It was like, but my wishes all still count. So
Yes, they do.
yeah. And it's like, I'm not a birthday person, but there are years you feel more into it than others. And it was like, this was one of those years where it kind of had to be dragged a little into it. Like last year, I kind of threw a little birthday party. And this year I was a little like, I don't know, like not as much into it. Just seemed like kind of a bigger effort. So I was very grateful for Mark making the weekend special and my girlfriends and my other friends for making moments. Even here when I came to Knack to record, I'd gotten me Halloween cookies in Virginia.
Yeah, super cute.
And Morgan stopped by and brought, oh God, this is actually a little funny back. So we just had this absolutely huge brunch, right? We had it at brunch time. Like it was like 11:30. So Virginia, I guess, out with Morgan, my goddaughter, out running errands and wanted to stop by and wish me a happy birthday. And I'm like, okay, great. So she stops by with flowers, and I think there was something else that was really sweet, but with 3 smoothies from Juicy Ladies.
Oh. Ooh.
And I'm like, I could not literally
Squeeze that in,
consume
yeah.
one more thing. But, I'm trying to be sweet and nice. So she's like, well, try, figure out which one you want. And Morgan is standing like very close to me, like looking at me. And I'm realizing, especially out of the smoothies, because one was like a carrot ginger juice, which was like, I took a sip of it and I was like, hello. Well, that just wiped out all memories of that delicious brunch. Oh my God, cleanse the palate. The 2 smoothies, one was like a strawberry passion fruit, and the other one was a chocolate hazelnut. Whatever one I don't want, Morgan's going to take the other one.
Oh, mhm.
Well, I know at this point, I'm like, she's going to want the chocolate one. So I have to take a sip of both of them. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so full. And I'm like, oh, this chocolate one is pretty good, but I think you like the chocolate one better, right, Morgan? She goes, yeah, okay, I'll take that one. I'm like, thank you. And I was actually relieved she took it off my hands because I was like, I literally cannot consume this. So I'm like, I'm going to put them in the refrigerator for later. And I don't think I got to them till the next day, which is actually nice the next day. But I was like, I felt so bad. I'm like, I just can't take a smoothie in right now. But there was all very thoughtful moments throughout the whole birthday week. I have girlfriends that celebrate like an entire month. I can cap out at a week. That can be exhausting. So I'm like, okay. So it was a very nice birthday week. And like I said, friends and family, very thoughtful. And I really enjoyed it. And I'm just going to hope and pray that this coming year, is filled with health, happiness, and success, whatever that looks like.
Yep.
And shared with my family and friends, which is the most important for me. And, really it started off with a bang. Like I said, that'll be a different episode. We'll talk about it. And, where it really put some things in perspective where I went, okay, yeah, you have to cherish your health and your family and your friends. So, yeah. So happy birthday to me. And if you share my birthday month of October or week, happy birthday to you.
And on that note, thank you for listening to Family Dynamics. And don't forget to follow us on all of our social media at Family DynamiKs with a K. And join us on Patreon. And tell your friends to join us on Patreon as well. Become a patron. Okay, thank you for listening to Family Dynamics.